Welcome everybody to Stoked, the ultimate Star Trek Online
The one and only
podcast.
Yes.
My name is Chris.
I'm Jeremy.
And this episode is just the two of us. Brian had an unfortunate situation. He was ambushed by a mercenary band of midgets, ruthless guys, hired by a viewer that didn't appreciate Brian's verbal abuse of goats.
That's right.
And we've dispatched a rescue team to bring him back, so I think he'll be joining us probably next episode.
We hope.
This is, of course, I should say, Season 2, Episode 3.
It is.
We're going to kick it off with the news. Up first in our news segment for Star Trek Online.
This is big news, guys.
Borg content has been released, at least on the 11th. And we've got a little trailer here for you because you can't find this in a lot of places online. So check this guy out. It's pretty exciting.
Sit back.
We are the Borg. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
That looks pretty sweet if you ask me.
Yep.
So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that.
We've already had some fleet mates playing through some of the new missions that have come out.
And I asked them, because these guys are like at Admiral rank. I said, so how did the new content feel? Did it feel rushed? Did it feel really polished? What do you think? And they said they definitely felt like they spent their time. It felt like polished gameplay.
In fact, one of the new missions that involves Q, they've said is probably their new favorite, even above the previous favorite.
But we know now it's not John Delancey's Q. It's like his son.
No, it's AQ, a member of the Continuum.
Yeah.
So
all right.
With that came out on February 11th with another rather substantial patch that fixed many long-standing bugs.
And we should say, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit in the show notes here, but we have confirmation from Daniel Stahl, who, if you have been a watcher of the show for a while, was on the show a little bit. And he comes out and says they're targeting for regularly scheduled downtimes on Thursdays, which is when they will do bug fixes and patches. And I think they usually do these things like 3 a.m. Pacific time.
Yep,
2 a.m.
3 to 6, I think, is the usual window.
So I know some of you out there have been wondering, is there going to be an official time to expect the game to be down? A lot of games, World of Warcraft and EVE Online, I think they all have scheduled downtime, right? And so now Star Trek Online is moving towards that, so that's very cool.
Right. And they've pretty much announced their schedule, at least what they're aiming for.
Yep.
There was actually another patch that came out that was scheduled for this morning that we're taping at 3 to 6 a.m., but unfortunately their servers crashed at about 10 p.m. So they just said, well, time to patch. Yeah. They took the downtime and they used it. A lot of people were actually a little upset with that, but I think it was pretty forward-thinking.
If you're going to be down, you might as well just do it while you're down.
Right.
Now, the other thing that, just going along the line of the new content, is when we had Gozer on the show, he talked about some of the new raid-isodes, and those are coming out on the 18th.
Right.
So the new content patch that just came out is not necessarily what we talked about earlier. The new content patch that came out, like the Cure, which is the Borg mission, the Khitomer Accord, obviously that's a Klingon thing.
Yeah.
And Into the Hive is another Borg thing.
Well, these are all just episodic content. So this is like when you get into a new sector and you go and visit the new hub, like DS9 or Starbase 39 or anything like that. Well, the new one is called, I think, Battle Group Alpha or something like that.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, I'm not there yet, so I don't have all the details on it.
You're only a captain.
I'm only a captain. But when you get there, basically, you're given new missions, and that's what these are.
Yeah.
The raid-isodes will come out next week.
Very cool. The raid-isodes should be out on the 18th, so we're looking forward to that.
Yep.
All right. Well, moving right
Actually,
along.
I just want to mention a few new bugs that have actually been implemented.
Now, are you talking about the stuff that came out on the 11th?
Yes.
All right. What do you got for me?
And was not fixed in the subsequent emergency patch.
SOBs.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, one of them is that high-end video cards are having a lot of overheating problems. I don't know if this is because they changed the way some of their coding works to really push those cards, but they've had to actually implement a fix to limit the frames per second within the game to a maximum of 60.
Right.
So this means if you're on a high-end machine and you're all of a sudden getting artifacting or bad performance, you might want to check your max frames per second and crank it down a little bit.
I thought it was maybe somewhere. I thought we had a link somewhere that told you the command where you can actually hard lock your frame rate.
Well, they added that with the subsequent patch, so I took it out of our notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. And I've noticed that surprisingly my video card seems to get rather warm just sitting at the login screen.
Yeah.
Like, not like the patcher screen, but you get into the game and it's like that Starfleet logo that says cryptic login protocol. I've noticed that seems to actually get my fan going pretty good on the video card. So I'm not sure. I have a Radeon card, so it's an ATI. I know most people play with NVIDIA. All right. Any other new bugs introduced that you want to cover?
Yeah, they've changed the way that beam energy is allocated, and it's possible that EPS conduits, which help you allocate your energy more quickly, which also helps with your weapon power regeneration if you're using a lot of beam weapons. There are some, there's no new math on it yet, but it looks like they don't benefit your ship as greatly as they used to.
So they kind of took down.
They kind of maybe nerfed EPS
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll keep looking into that and see where the math lies.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Well, they said that they were going to give a science team while you're under the effect of viral matrix, and they did not. And a lot of PvPers are extremely upset about this.
What's viral matrix?
It's a space hold. It makes it so that you cannot move and cannot act. You can't act either. None of your powers can be activated.
Oh, like that green weapon.
Yep.
From DS9.
Yep.
Is that what it is? Is it like essentially that?
It's essentially that.
That's really cool. All right. Well,
so they haven't fixed that, and hopefully that'll come.
They've announced a weekly patch window.
I know.
Because they're going to need it.
And additional emergency patches whenever the server happens to crash.
Yeah. So
they also modified ramming speed. This is a really big thing for PvP as well.
Oh, okay.
This was actually put in, I believe, as a PvE fix for things like the crystalline entity, so that you couldn't just
blow it up by ramming it.
Since there's no death penalty, there was really no
just
drawback
throw
to
yourself
just
at it.
ramming speed everything that you found in an episodic content.
Right. Yeah,
so
that's true.
So they made it so that smaller ships do less damage to bigger objects, but that also includes things like if you're flying in a Defiant, you won't do much damage against ramming a Galaxy or a Negvar or anything like that. Yeah. So kind of a nerf there for the PvPers.
Yeah, it is. That's for sure. I'd actually... Well, at what level do you get ramming speed as an ability? Because I haven't seen that yet. Is that just
commander? It's somewhere in the commander ranks.
Is it not available to science?
No, it's a general command ability.
Commander. I thought you meant... Yeah. I'm like, I'm Lieutenant Commander. No, I'm not a commander.
No.
No, I'm not that
They
cool.
did fix, however, the Borg Hunt Warzone, which is a PvP with PvE objectives. And I'm gonna check that out when I get home. I just learned about that before we came here.
I mean, one of the things that these new patches have added is the deep space Borg encounters now too, right?
Yep.
So that could be, I don't know, man, that could be nuts.
Yeah,
I'm currently getting my butt handed to me by the Romulans. I have not graduated beyond.
Wait
the
until you
Romulans
meet
yet.
the Cardassians. Oh my goodness!
Okay, really? All right, great.
Yeah.
Oh boy, well somebody else can kick my butt for a little while. That's good. I'm glad we got that covered. Now we got a big math segment coming up. Is there anything else in the news segment you want to cover before we move into math? Actually, math and media are really meaty this week. So
yeah.
Should we jump into math?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get math. Okay, everyone, it's time to get math. And this episode, we're going to talk about martial arts. What? Martial arts?
Also known as the fine art of face punching. And we'll show you the best way to do this in game.
How to beat somebody in a fist fight by kicking them in the face.
That's right.
All right, Jeremy, what do you got for us?
Well, first of all, I wanted to give you guys a few tips. If you want to go this route, there are a few things that you need to know up front, even as when you're creating your character. First of all, go tactical.
Oh.
So their engineers and science officers cannot deal the same amount of damage. They don't have the tools at their disposal that a tactical officer does to actually kick butt. So if you want to kick butt, be a tactical officer.
You got to be tactical. And if you're going to be punching, you're probably already in the tactical mindset anyways.
That's right.
And also you might want to talk to somebody about your aggression issues. I'm just saying.
Another thing you want to do...
want to punch people in the face that much.
Sorry, another thing you want to do is make sure that your character has the physical strength trait.
Oh.
Now, one of the best actually pre-made races for this is Vulcans. They start with that, and they have a few special...
so you've got to do that while you're making your character.
Yeah, you got to think ahead. So, yeah, do it.
Yeah. All right.
Now, a few things you need to keep in mind is it's not very good for PvP. PvP right now on ground combat is very much dominated by burst damage, like people that are able to do a lot of damage very quickly.
Yeah, there's several math segments just in PvP alone, really.
Yeah, martial arts can't do that. It actually, in the end, works out to higher DPS than most weapons in the game.
And DPS is...
damage per second.
Versus...
damage...
overall?
Burst.
Yeah, okay.
Like, how much damage you deal per hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, also, let's see, I have another... Oh, martial arts is actually pretty inferior to range combat because of movement. They're working on this a little bit. They've made it so that many moves in martial arts have root effects. So you can hold people in place and kick them.
Nice.
But overall, if you've got a gun, it doesn't matter if the enemy's moving. You just keep shooting them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the same case in martial arts. So
you've got to be up with inmate contact.
And very much hands-on.
Gotcha.
Literally.
Hey, good one.
I know.
All right.
Okay, so base damage of your fists is calculated based on a number of things, and I'm not sure of the exact... I've been trying to pinpoint the exact calculations. I'm math failing here, though. I can't get them for you yet. But they are based on all of the following. Your rank, that is if you're a lieutenant commander or commander or all that. Your physical strength trait deals a lot into that. It increases your base damage by a flat 10%, which if you watched our torpedo math last episode, 10% works out to pretty significant numbers.
It builds, yeah. I mean,
Also, all of your tactical skills. There's close combat training, special forces, and martial arts. Each of those can give you additional bonuses to your overall ground damage. Now, I don't know the exact math, but I know that it can range at the very low end from 8 DPS when you start off to when you're an admiral rank with all your skills buffed up and everything, up to 50 DPS or more.
Okay.
Which is actually more than high-end weapons do at admiral.
Yeah.
So
if you plan right and you wait long until you get the right rank, not only are you going to be a bad artist for being that far in the game, but your fists are going to be of
lethal
fury.
Weapons.
Fists of fury.
Plus, remember, you can't be weapons malfunctioned if you're using your fists. You can't be debuffed so that you can't use your weapons because they're attached to your body.
My hands are part of me.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next part of this is that if you might have noticed, if you've used martial arts at all, a series of different button pushes will execute different moves. Your first opening attack is based on either your 1 or your 2.
So these are combos? Is that what you're talking about?
Not yet. What I'm talking about is your base attacks. I'll just call them primary and secondary. There's your 1 and 2 buttons.
Oh, okay. So just like a gun, you have your primary shot, and then you have like your exploit shot.
Right. Now, every time you press one of these, it causes your subsequent attack to become something different. So these are separated into primary attacks, demi combos, which are sets of 2, and full combos, which are sets of 3. So
gotcha.
Each of your primary attacks has a different effect. The primary number 1 attack does an interrupt, which doesn't work very well. Interrupt is kind of lame.
But it's supposed to make the person you're attacking stop whatever they're doing?
If your enemy is using a special ability, it's supposed to stop them from doing it. It doesn't really work all that well.
But it could be handy when it does work.
Yeah, if you get lucky, it's good.
I love getting lucky.
The number 2 attack is a snare, which will stop them from running away so quickly. So that's a good one. That's good to open with. Now, let's move into demi combos. This is your series of 2 subsequent attacks. So if you do like a 1-1 or a 2-2, these have small effects. Most of them just root your enemy.
Okay.
The real meat of martial arts is in your full combos, which is the fancy video that Chris is showing for you here.
Say what?
Is a few examples of those.
Yeah.
These are a whole series. Every one of these is executed by a series of either like 1-1-2 or 1-2-1 or 1-2-2.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a whole list of what all of them do.
The show notes are epic on this one. I got to say thanks to the fleet members, too, that helped put some of this together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
So, but I do want to tell you right off the top, 1-1-2 looks like it's going to be the bread and butter of any martial artist. It does critical base damage. It also has a chance to critical strike, a very high chance to critical strike. So if you use that and then buff up your critical severity stat, you will deal massive amounts of damage.
That's really
almost
cool.
Guaranteed.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's really all I got.
I like the animations too. You'll notice in this video these are just some of them, and they look good. Like Cryptic spent time making these. They expected people to play this, so they did not make this a second. This isn't the right term, but second class power in the game.
Right.
It's a full fledged.
Well, like I mentioned before, if you actually invest yourself in martial arts from the get go, you can be more badass than anybody with a rifle can be.
Yeah.
You'll be dealing
Jet Li by the time
you'll be dealing more
game.
damage than anybody else,
like
as
that.
long as you can get your enemy to hold still.
Definitely check out the show notes on this one, folks.
It's
got the button combos that do what you want to do. It's got some notes on there. It's a great one. You can find those over at the show post.
Damage modifiers and status effects and what they do.
That's
I don't want to bore you all with just listing them, so go read it.
That's one of those things where that's the kind of stuff we put in the show notes that sometimes people skip over that and you miss that. So you'll want to check that out. All right. That's the math segment. Time to move on to the media segment.
In this week's media segment, we're going to focus first on some interesting content that was rolled out by Cryptic themselves.
The very own Cryptic?
Yes.
The people of Star Trek Online.
The ones that make it.
The ones that make it.
Now, this content that they rolled out is teasers for upcoming Undine
I was just
content.
saying off air that it kind of almost feels like open or closed beta and all that kind of stuff because we're getting screenshots of stuff that we can't actually play, or at least I can't actually play with yet.
Right.
And I don't know. It's kind of like the whole thing all over again now. But then you said you decided to take a big crap on my face and then smear it up my nose. You said, "Yeah, that's cool, except for the Undine suck."
Yeah, they're like these magic mythical. They're unicorns of the STO universe
What, because they can shapeshift.
Yes.
Well, blame Voyager
And
for that,
because
dude.
they're more powerful than anything else, they don't have any motivation beyond just killing us.
Well, you don't know that yet.
They're like this.
Dude, there could be awesome story for all you know.
They're bad Q.
And if you don't like the fact, well, they can't snap stuff.
No, but they're almost that powerful.
Mm,
They're getting there.
you don't know.
I don't like them. I think it's very much, they could have just taken an existing enemy
Here's
like
why
the
I like
Borg
'em.
and been badass with them.
No. The Borg is an established playbook.
Sure.
Like, see, I think like the way cryptic women
Are they though? Because now they're evolving.
Yeah, but there's still a basic principle. Like, you know, there's certain traits about the Borg you just don't want to change because you want to stay canon.
Sure.
And I think like
Well,
what
yeah.
Cryptic did with Gorn, I think Star Trek Online takes the Gorn, who's an awesome race that we've seen a little bit in Enterprise, and we
Mhm.
saw a battle in TOS, obviously in the
Right.
original series. But
They were really fleshed out, and I think it was Star Trek Armada.
yes. But they incorporated a lot of that, which was some of it's cryptics and some of it's from other video games.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think they're doing the same with Species 8472. I mean, the fact that they're called the Undine, I actually heard somebody hating on that, and I thought, well, this is what the race the Borg call us Species 5679 or whatever they call us.
Right.
We don't call ourselves that. We call ourselves humans.
Right.
The Undine call themselves Undine.
Do they?
Well, I think that's where the name came from. All right, should we take a look at some of these screenshots?
Yeah,
here?
let's
'Cause
do it.
I think these look
Because
really
as much
cool.
as I poo-poo on the concept of this race, I think they look
The
badass.
screenshots look great. Yeah. So here's just a shot of a group of them looking around. And you notice this one guy, he's got some armor on his suit,
Mhm.
which makes
And
him
one of
kind
those
scary.
stabby shooty things on his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy looks mean.
Boy,
And-
wouldn't it be cool if we could get one of those for our character?
Mm.
Like start looting Undine weaponry?
And look how big this guy is compared to the human. See how big he is compared
Wimpy
to that guy?
little human.
And then, and I think again, one of the things you see, here to me, what's up right over there, Jeremy? What's that right there?
His big stabby shooty thing?
No, on his chest. You see that on his chest? It looks like
Is it-
Borg technology to me.
No, it looks like an Iron Man power supply.
No, that looks like the eyepiece to Hugh. Like, remember Hugh from the Next Generation?
Mm-hmm.
That looks like his eyepiece.
I think it looks like Iron Man.
All right, so I'm gonna have to kill air right now while I prove Jeremy wrong real quick.
Yeah, you do that. In the meantime, if you can, I guess you can't, but there's other
I'm sorry, I can't.
portions of that picture in the background that show some of their computer terminals, which I think look damn
How does Hugh
awesome.
spell his name? You know who I'm talking about. The drone?
Borg.
Yeah.
It's H-U-G-H.
H-U-G-H. Okay.
Yeah. Well, how did you spell it? H-U-G-E?
Yeah, because I'm a moron.
Huge?
No,
his name is
I
Huge?
just spelled it H-U-E.
Oh, okay.
All right, take a look. See,
There is Hugh.
that's Hugh right there, and
Mhm.
you got to tell me. Okay, so I'll go
There's
in here,
that.
make it nice and big. All right, you see his eyepiece there,
Hi,
right?
Hugh.
That's his eyepiece.
Mhm.
Now we'll go back over here to the Undine and look at that. Doesn't that look kind of like that a little bit?
Or Iron Man.
It's not Iron Man, dude. It's Star Trek. It's Star Trek.
Oh.
Right. Okay.
All right.
So what?
Because they are kind of supervillains.
My point is though, is
They have these magical powers to they can kill you with a slap.
My point is
Harry
they seem to
Kim.
be incorporating Borg technology into them, which would make sense for them because that's you got to keep your enemies closer in order to.
I think it doesn't make much sense. They were all about the hate of everything from our galaxy, but whatever.
right.
We'll see how they
All
get
right, now do
fleshed
you have
out.
something positive to say about the terminals? Here?
I like their computers.
I do too.
I think
they
they're
look pretty
awesome.
cool.
And actually, if you look carefully in this, that shot that you've got up, one of them is it looks like he's reaching through it. Might be a graphic error, but it might be that they have fluidic space.
Well, they're fluidic.
contained within.
No, they
them.
are because those are like little neuron things in there.
Yeah. So in order to manipulate them, they actually have
Yeah.
to reach into fluidic space
Yeah, that's cool.
and tickle them.
All right, the next
think that's
shot
a neat
here
idea.
is a cool Borg v Undine, or
Uh-huh.
whatever you want to call them.
Facing off.
Looks very cool.
Staring
Again,
each
he
other
looks like
down.
he has Borg nipples, but it's awesome. You see
Borg
that?
nipples.
You see that?
Yeah.
But it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next shot is a great shot. Now, somebody said this had a little bit of this. Said this was a little World of Warcraft to them, but I think it is not like anything else I've seen yet in Star Trek Online, and I'm excited to try this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very alien. I do like it when they go very alien with Star Trek content.
It feels really different.
Yeah.
And then
And you know what? I'll give the Undine that as well. When they were first introduced in Voyager, I was like, whoa, a real alien.
yeah,
But then-
because it was one of the first times they could do CG and whatnot.
Yeah.
It was new with Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
And then why don't we cap off our discussion with the Undine with a trailer that's come out
Let's
recently
do it.
for the Undine. This was released by-
Yeah.
Those guys look mean. And look at that station. How sweet is that station? I should say this came from them. Yes. Good job, everybody.
Probably one of the best ones that they've come out with.
It makes me want to play that content. Like I've been slow pacing myself through the game, and after seeing that, I was kind of like.
And the neat part is we've just gotten this, and we don't know what it is. I mean, we haven't been told that there's going to be an Undine sector or an Undine Raidasode or anything
Oh, you know,
like
that's a
that.
good point. I just assumed it all I assumed the Undine content takes place in Borg space.
Well, that's probably a safe
if you
assumption.
Look at the galaxy map. We know they're going to open up Borg space, and I would just. Yeah,
that is probably a safe assumption, but we haven't actually been told that. So it'll be interesting to see how they implement it and where it's coming.
Very cool.
Very cool.
All right, everyone. Well, I think we'll end the show on that note. And as we play out, after we say goodbye, we're gonna play a cool fleet action video that one of the fleet mates sent in.
Yep, we got together and did Breaking the Planet a few nights back, and one of our fleet mates taped some of it, and wanted to share that as part of our media segment as well.
Absolutely. Well, we'll end it there. So thanks everyone for watching this episode of Stoked. If you'd like to get a hold of us, head over to jupitercolony.com to leave us feedback, or you can find out posts and other kind of show-related events and things like that on our Facebook page, and that's facebook.com/Jupiter Broadcasting. Until next week, we're out.
Yeah, live long and prosper and stuff.
And watch the video.